Caleb Wallace was a resident of Central Texas. He was an anti-masker. He was a proponent of using vitamins and aspirin and, yes, even ivermectin, the horse dewormer, to treat himself after he was diagnosed with COVID-19. Now, before he got COVID, this guy had helped to organize an event in San Angelo called the Freedom Rally, essentially an anti-mask event. This is the same guy who wrote to his school district 4 months ago demanding they rescind all COVID-19 protocols. After Caleb Wallace got COVID, he spent 3 weeks on a ventilator. He is now dead. At 30, he leaves behind a wife and 3 kids, with a 4th on the way. This is another Texan, H. Scott Apley, 45, Republican city council member for Dickinson City, Texas. He posted a series of anti-vaccination memes on his social media, diagnosed with COVID August 2nd, dead a few days later. This guy's name is Dick Farrell. Dick Farrell was a host on the right wingnut alternate reality network called Newsmax, and Dick Farrell maliciously mocked Dr. Anthony Fauci. He called COVID masks face diapers. A mask and a vaccine might have saved his life. He's dead of COVID-19. Here's another right-wing broadcaster. This is radio host Phil Valentine of Nashville's WWTN. He was a vaccine skeptic, until he wasn't. He's dead at 61. Guess what killed him? Jimmy D. Young Sr., a religious broadcaster in Tennessee. I can no longer say he is a religious broadcaster. He was a religious broadcaster. He said that COVID vaccines were a tool for sterilizing women and wondered if they were in fact a mechanism for government surveillance and control of the masses. He died August 18th of COVID. He's joined by Florida talk show host Mark Bernier of WNDB Radio. That guy proudly called himself Mr. Anti-Vax before COVID killed him August the 28th. And we've got Bob Enyart. He was a Denver pastor, host of the ironically titled Real Science Radio on KLTT. He falsely claims vaccines contained aborted fetal cells. He called for an outright boycott of Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson because they were, quote, child killers. Bob Enyart got COVID. It killed him. He was 62. I could do this all day. And I totally get just how easy it would be to brush these stories off. You know what? If you're not going to embrace vaccine science, if you're going to play Russian roulette, fine. You can shout God all day long and remove yourself from the gene pool. I get that. I understand the sentiment, cause and effect. The problem is this. These people do not live on a deserted island. Every day they are in contact with vulnerable children and spouses and extended family members and total strangers, many of whom are immunocompromised, essentially the rest of us, like all the rest of us. Their rejection, not just of vaccine science, but of their own social responsibility, it's making the world more dangerous and deadly for millions of people. You want the poster child for horribleness in the midst of over 4 million global pandemic deaths? My friends, I present to you Tennessee pastor Greg Locke.
Pandemic is not real.
But what do you think a pandemic is?
Not COVID-19.
And finally, we've got Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves. Tate Reeves declared that Southerners are a little less scared of COVID because they believe in eternal life. Essentially, if they kick off here on planet Earth, they have a life 2.0 waiting for them, so no problem. Mississippi is a global hotspot for COVID deaths per capita, many of them kids. Governor Reeves is making joy references to a happy ending in Cloud City. Which state consistently ranks in the bottom 10 for education, infrastructure, healthcare, and more? I will let Tate Reeves answer that question when he's done telling grieving relatives that fearing COVID is the work of the devil. Personally, I'm just so tired of hearing that masks and vaccines are a freedom issue. I'm sick and tired of hearing people tell me they want their freedoms without any semblance of personal responsibility. These people already live in a world of public safety mandates, and I don't hear them griping about mandatory fire safety codes or seatbelts or required vaccinations for school children. Hell, I was required to get my dogs vaccinated. My dogs! Before we took them to the groomer. Societies employ public safety requirements all the time. And in case these people haven't noted, we're heading towards 700,000 deaths in the United States alone and well over 4 million global dead. And while the God Squad continues to yammer on about protections that they've got from Jesus, I pretty much guarantee you that the best incarnation of Jesus would tell them to shut up, vaccine up, and cover their slobbering, spitting mouths and noses. Maybe it was cute back when it first started. Oh, they'll get it. They just need a few minutes to figure things out. Hey, it is the last half of 2021. There's no end of COVID in sight. The rest of us are just tired of worrying that we and the people we care about are going to pay for the myopic, selfish, ignorant, and irredeemably stupid behaviors of literally millions who should know better, who should be better, and who should do better. And certainly they shouldn't get to play the religious exemption card when it comes to public health and the safety of people that their Jesus supposedly commanded them to love and protect. I'm out of patience. I think we're all out of patience. Vaccine mandates are on the table and in the cards if you refuse to participate in the safety of a society. Congratulations, you just surrendered your right to be a part of it. You don't get all the benefits without paying this ridiculously small premium on your freedom. And beyond all that, we're on to you. The people who claim they'd take a bullet to protect their fellow Americans, these people won't even wear a piece of cloth over their mouths and noses for their fellow Americans. Total hypocrites. It's pathetic. It is time to grow up, inoculate like big boys and girls, and stop whining about the tiny inconveniences that just might keep our fellow human beings alive.